Call to order, meeting 7:30 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilor Burlingame.
Here.
Councilor Calisi.
Here.
Councilor Greathouse.
Here.
Councilor Steer.
Here.
Councilor Murphy.
Here, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Looking to get a motion, if I can get, is anybody here for open forum?
Yes, Mr. Corey Paul.
Okay.
Is that for agenda or agenda item?
It's for agenda items.
Yeah. Would it be for the passage of the Second Amendment?
Correct.
Okay. Maybe we move that right up to the front. So that would be number 8. Can I get a motion to get 8 moved to the front?
I'll make a motion move 8A, new business, 2025 gun control legislation to the front.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, Corey, did you want to come up?
Yeah, sure.
Just state your name.
Yes.
Your address.
Corey Polo. I am at 322 Old Plainfield Pike. I am a resident of Situate.
Okay. What are you here for today?
Regarding the gun control bill.
Okay.
So just want to make a couple key talking points regarding the bill. In the past, when we tried to draft the resolution to pass the the two-way sanctuary movement, there was a lot of talk with lawyers and senators regarding, the bill being, if you're not familiar with an unfunded mandate, basically there's over 4,000 firearms that are currently on this list. They're asking us to provide a fingerprint registry. So basically, like, if anyone is going to surrender their firearms to the local police, basically, the taxpayers are more or less like responsible to basically fund the storage and the security of everyone's like property. So I just wanted to make everybody aware that the taxpayers could be solely responsible if everyone's going to start surrendering their firearms. So, and then basically with the SCOTUS decision, if it's overruled and people come back to the local police and they retrieve their property, then it's got to be returned in the same condition that it was more or less like surrendered in. So that comes back on the taxpayer. So
If it doesn't,
yes.
come back. Yes.
So I mean, just as far as, the state always issues all these bills to be, declared as an unfunded mandate. A lot of people are unaware that it's the towns that are solely responsible to store these items. It's not a federal ban. So like the town, they can't the state can't destroy it. The towns can't destroy your property regardless what it is. It doesn't even have to be firearms. So again, just want to put some clarity on the bill. A lot of people that don't know. This is coming from the senators in the past when we've testified, making citizens know of every town that this could turn around and kind of have some taxpayer effect. That's basically it. I mean, we can go down, get into a lot further other issues, but I don't want to take up too much time. But just wanted to kind of shed some light on
All right, thank you.
On how detrimental the bill could be.
Unfunded mandate. else on the list?
No, that was it.
Okay. So number 8, new business, A, 2025 gun control legislation, discussion or action, proposed legislation. I put this on there. I have been going to the State House for the past 4 weeks on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've read the bill. Obviously with my history of understanding firearms in the industry, this is gonna make a lot of, if this law passes, this is going to make a lot of residents in Gloucester felons. So, just like the magazine ban did. So, I think we need to protect our Second Amendment, as well as all of our other amendments in the Constitution. So, I guess I'll open it up for any kind of discussion amongst us. Does anybody have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions on the table on that.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay.
Same.
The question right now isn't whether you're in favor or opposed, the question is, should it be on the agenda tonight?
Right.
Because typically we do these things, we get a
A week after.
consensus first, and then.
And the reason why is obviously we have the State House next week, so.
So I was gonna bring up that point, and, you know, time, then you have a special meeting, but Will and you and I discussed this, so. Typically, for any type of resolution, as Madam Clerk just mentioned, that we have a discussion, if we wanna put it on the agenda or not. And, you know, there's times like celebrating, the sports teams and their
Super Bowl champions.
Super Bowl champions and the girls' basketball, and so on and so forth. Okay, yeah, so we want to celebrate that. This is pretty heavy, right? And, you know, I come in from 2 angles. The first angle is I come from the town angle, and I don't believe this is a town issue. I'm glad somebody brought up unfunded mandate, because that does impact the town in different ways. But this is more of an individual constitutional issue. And I'm not sure that as a town council, we should be taking this up. I'll give you my personal opinion. I think that I'm gonna, and I think this is an incredible overreach of government. And we've seen this in other areas, not just with the Second Amendment. Look at local zoning. Look up some of the things that they've done to us already, and they're doing us now, not just in this town, but the whole state. And people are starting to wake up to it, because it's happening to them now in different towns and cities. And they're trying to push more of that through in this session. I'm gonna bring that up later on, so maybe we can get a resolution on for next meeting to oppose some of those. So, I mean, I'm torn. I fully support the fact that there's incredible overreach happening at the State House in so many different levels, including this. But I'm also torn, is this something we should be taking up? Because I also look at, we talk about unfunded mandates, but we also look at, no matter what the decision is of that bill, people at the State House are gonna be looking at Lincoln and whoever else, us possibly, oh, they need money for their schools, oh, they need money for their roads. Well, you know, maybe they find themselves at the bottom of the list. We all understand that's how it works. So, you know, that's the other aspect I'm looking at it from. So, I mean, whatever the group wants to decide, then that's fine, but that's just my perception, that's my take on this, so.
I have something for discussion.
Sure, just come up and state your name. Street.
Cassidy Greathouse, live on Dexter Saunders in Gloucester. On Walter's point, I do think there's something that is missed on all of this, is not only will it be an unfunded mandate on storage of the firearms, but I think it's gonna be, one, it's gonna force our law enforcement to break a current standing law, general law that's on the books, by creating a registry. So it's putting our law enforcement agents mostly the police department, in a sticky situation on creating a gun registry. Because in the bill, it does state that you are grandfathered in, but you have to register that firearm with your local police department and pay a fee, and do fingerprinting. So not only, and create a registry, which is against one of the Rhode Island general laws. It's actually in the resolution. And not only that, it's gonna be taxing on the law enforcement. We know that they have a lot of calls and they're very busy, but now it's gonna be an added stressor to them by creating this registry, processing the applications for grandfather rights, collecting fees, processing fees, and also, doing the fingerprinting, which is part of this so-called assault weapon ban bill. That's something that our local law enforcement will be responsible in doing if it does pass, for people that want to remain law-abiding citizens and want to follow the law. They will be forced to register their guns, and the police department will have to process all of those firearms. It's not just, hey, I own firearms. You have to go and bring in the make, model, serial number. They have to keep a database of all of this, and they have to process fees. So it's gonna add a lot of extra work to our law enforcement that and they're already dealing with enough, so to even complicate their day in and day out work, I think is not right, as well as it being unfunded as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just want to say something in response to Councilman Steer as well, Councilman Steer. When we took our oath, it's in here, we took our oath to support the Constitution. And this bill in and of itself is unconstitutional, so I think it's kind of on us to do what we're doing.
Stand up for the
Basically,
Constitution.
stand up for the constituents, stand up for the Constitution.
Yep.
I don't think they can dangle money over our head. I think to use that as a point of making a decision, I think it's important for us to stand up for our constitutional rights and join the other committees in the state that are coming together to support all the residents of Rhode Island and supporting our First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights.
I agree. I don't like the idea that they could possibly threaten not to give us something because we do this. I mean, it's our right to do this. This is our town, our people, a lot of hunting and everything here. I agree, there's something that we should do.
We stood up, once a few years ago with the mask issue, and I was really proud of the town council, which I wasn't sitting at the time, who decided to not go along with the mask mandate and to, they put that in effect, and the next day, the governor made it a mandate, so we didn't really have a choice, but I think it's important for us to stand up and be strong.
Towns this is where the grassroots movements happen.
Yep.
Right? And Walt is 100% right. We all know politics. You do something somebody doesn't like, somewhere it's gonna bite you. He's 100% correct. I see it at the State House all the time. So us putting our necks out here, I think, is driving that home grassroots, telling the state. And again, this could be the First Amendment. This could be any of them. And I think we have to push back. And if we can push back as all of the communities in the state, I think they get the hint. This isn't just a assault weapons ban. This is an all weapons ban. So if you're in the room here and you don't know what we're all doing here, it's everything. It's everything from a muzzle loader that was your grandfather's that could be hanging over your fireplace. It could be a collection of firearms. I have a firearm at the current store I own that is 1863 Remington side block, and it has a bayonet lug on it. And that is a $5,000 heirloom that will be made illegal. a revolver that you could use that's so basic that has been on the planet for the last 200 years. If it's over 50 ounces, could be illegal. And when I go up to the State House and I talk to these people about this, they have no idea about firearms. None, zero. They call parts the completely wrong thing. So just be aware and be educated, because there's lots of keyboard warriors on Facebook that think that they know everything. And I'm in the industry, and I can't believe that these people are pushing these laws through. There's lots of lawyers up there that can't believe that they're pushing these laws through. So again, I 100% back Walt that us as a town, you know, there could be some sticky points with this, but is that a risk that we're willing to take to support our residents of Gloucester to make sure that we're not going to be felons out here? That's all I had. So again, what Gene brought up, you know, we'll have to make a motion to see if we're going to support this, and then call for the motion. So, so there's a motion. Is there any more discussion on this? All right. It's on the top of page. It is on the bottom of 5.
Bottom page 5?
Yep.
Make a motion to consider a vote to adopt a resolution in opposition to proposed 2025 gun legislation, House Bill 5436 and Senate Bill 359.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 2, resolution in opposition to Rhode Island 2025 gun control legislation, discussion, interaction. State of Rhode Island, Town of Gloucester. Resolution 2025-03 to the Town of Gloucester. Opposition to Rhode Island 2025 gun control legislation. Whereas the Town Council of the Town of Gloucester, pursuant to Rhode Island statute and the Town of Gloucester's Town Charter, is vested with the authority of administrating the affairs of the Town of Gloucester, Rhode Island. And whereas the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution, ratified on December 15, 1791, as part of the Bill of Rights, protects the individual right of the people to keep and bear arms. And whereas the United States Supreme Court in District of Columbia v. Heller 554 U.S. 570, 2008, affirmed an individual's right to possess firearms unconnected with service in a militia for traditional lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home. And whereas the United States Supreme Court in McDonald v. Chicago 561 U.S. 742, 2010, affirmed that the right of an individual to keep and bear arms as protected under the Second Amendment is incorporated by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment and is applicable to the states. And whereas the United States Court in United States v. Miller 307 U.S. 174, 1939, opined that the firearms that are part of ordinary military equipment or with use that could contribute to the common defense are protected by the Second Amendment. And whereas Article 1, Section 22 of the Rhode Island Constitution adopted in 1842 provides that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whereas Article 1, Section 6 of the Rhode Island Constitution provides the right of the people to be secure in their persons, papers, possessions against unreasonable searches and seizures should not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but on complaint in writing upon probable cause, support by oath of affirmation, and described as nearly as many as may be the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And whereas, as a matter of general principle and in recognition of over 230 years of lawmaking under the guidance of the Constitution for the United States of America, having properly established numerous laws regarding criminal use of firearms that are wholly adequate when judicially enforced, such as additional laws are unneeded. Any law which, upon passage, renders a lifelong, law-abiding citizen a felon through no action of their own is an unjust law and should be unconstitutional under multiple amendments in the Bill of Rights. And whereas, in its desire of the Town Council of the Town of Gloucester to declare its support of the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and to the provisions of the Rhode Island Constitution which protect the citizens of the state of Rhode Island's individual right to keep and bear arms. Whereas Gloucester Town Council members each took an oath to support and defend the United States Constitution, the Rhode Island Constitution, and the laws of the state of Rhode Island, which are not deemed unconstitutional by a court of competent judication, and the charter of the town of Gloucester. Whereas the Gloucester Town Council members give great weight to adhere to the belief of James Madison Jr., the fourth president of these great United States, that oppressors can tyrannize only when they achieve a standing army and enslave, press, and disarm the populace. Whereas the town of Gloucester desires to protect the rights of law-abiding citizens, individuals who have committed crimes with firearms should be fully prosecuted with existing laws on the books. And whereas bills that have been passed and are being considered by the General Assembly would require the confiscation and storage of otherwise lawfully owned firearms and make the town and cities of Rhode Island responsible for these costs. Whereas Rhode Island General Laws 11-4, 7-41, government firearms registration, prohibited, specifically says, no government agency of this state in its political subdivisions shall keep or cause to be kept any list or register of privately owned firearms or any list or register of the owners of those firearms, provided that the provisions of this section shall not apply to firearms which have been used in committing any crimes of violence, nor to any person who has been convicted of a crime of violence. Whereas Rhode Island firearm purchase requirements already include a background check, a 7-day waiting period, and a blue card for the purchase of handguns, and additionally the lengthy process to obtain a concealed carry permit, all evidence of some of the most restrictive gun purchase ownership laws in the country. And whereas Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health Center for Gun Violence Solutions report that Rhode Island had the lowest overall gun death rate and gun suicide rate in the country in 2022, is further evidence of the effectiveness of the laws already in existence in Rhode Island. Whereas the gun violence that does exist is not from law-abiding citizens who own firearms, but from criminals who pay no attention to any existing or proposed laws. So it naturally follows that any bills restricting the rights of firearm owners will have no impact on the criminal element responsible for gun violence. Whereas the so-called assault weapon targeted in proposed legislation is sweepingly abroad and includes semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, handguns, and common competition and hunting usage, none of which have been part of the so-called gun problem. And whereas these bills not only penalize law-abiding citizens from exercising their constitutional right for owning a firearm, but they also damage federally licensed firearm dealers who are Rhode Island's business owners. They would most certainly restrict their sales and livelihood. And whereas the Rhode Island General Assembly in its 2025 legislative session has pending bills before its bills regulating and restricting the rights afforded by citizens of the United States through the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. And the Constitution of the United States of Rhode Island, most notably including but not limited to House Bill 5436, Senate Bill 359, the Rhode Island Assault Weapon Ban Act of 2025 would prohibit the possession of assault weapons, defined very broadly to include a wide range of semi-automatic firearms, making these bills more accurately the Rhode Island Semi-Automatic Firearms Ban of 2025. In order to be exempt, the weapon must within 12 months of the bill's passage be registered seemingly in violating the Rhode Island General Laws 11-47-41, be rendered inoperable, be surrendered to a registered firearm dealer or police department, or be transferred to a person in another jurisdiction where firearms are such allowed. It would also require any heirs of the descendant to surrender or transfer the firearm. If registered, the lawful owner would be required to submit fingerprints and pay a fee for registering the firearm. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Gloucester on June 6, 2019 declared itself a Second Amendment sanctuary town. Reaffirmed on April 15, 2021, and now reaffirms that declaration, and hereby takes the following position on state legislation that potentially abridges our Second Amendment rights. We find and declare these gun restrictive bills, if enacted by the Rhode Island General Assembly, infringe upon the rights of the people of the town of Gloucester and the people of the state of Rhode Island to keep and bear arms. We are collectively opposed to the infringement of these rights established by our founding fathers. Be it further resolved that these bills impose unfounded mandates upon local governments, and town council of the town of Gloucester will not appropriate funds for capital construction of building space and/or the purchase of storage systems to store weapons seized pursuant to any requirements set forth in the legislation if enacted by the General Assembly for the purpose of enforcement by any law that unconstitutionally infringes upon the rights of the people of the town of Gloucester to keep and bear arms. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to every Rhode Island municipality, state senators, state representatives, and governor and the lieutenant governor respectfully requesting their support. Passed as a resolution of the Gloucester Town Council this 20th day of March 2025. Gloucester Town Council, Council President William A. Worthy Jr., Councilor Vice President Walter M. Ostier III, Councilor Jonathan E. Burlingame, Councilor Cheryl A. Greathouse, Councilor Stephanie Calisi, Jean M. Fecto, CMC Town Clerk. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we're gonna get into normal stuff. All right, let's see, so we're gonna go back to the beginning. 5, resolution. Support of full funding of categorical transportation aid, RIGL, and 16-7.2-6, discussion or action. Council received a resolution from the Exeter West Grange School District requesting our support of categorical transportation aid funding. Superintendent Foster Gloucester Regional School support and adopted of the resolution. Resolution 2025-01 in support of full funding of categorical transportation aid as outlined in RIGL 16-7.2.6. I need some water. That's a lot of talking.
I thought you were gonna pass out for a second.
Right.
Oh,
Keep breathing.
yeah.
You want a chocolate?
No, no chocolate. Whereas state funding obligations for regional school districts have been reduced, including fund payments to the Foster Gloucester Regional School, which has left the community's taxpayers to make up for the shortfalls. And whereas Foster Gloucester Regional School is faced with the incredible difficult choice of whether to fully absorb the funding shortfalls, request more taxpayer contributions from member communities and or reduce student programming. And whereas it is vital that the students of the Glocester Foster Regional School be provided with high quality public education without overburdening community taxpayers. Now therefore be it resolved that the Gloucester Town Council hereby requests that the General Assembly fully fund the transportation categorical funds between the state regional school districts pursuant to the relevant requirements of RIGL 16-7.2-6. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to forward this resolution to the town of Gloucester's legislators in the Rhode Island General Assembly. This resolution shall take effect upon passage this 20th day of March 2025. Councilor William A. Worthy, President. Jean M. Fecto, CMC Town Clerk. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, number 6, consent items, discussion or action. A, approval of town council minutes regarding meeting of March 6th, 2025. B, tax assessor's addition and abatements, February 2025. C, finance director's report, February 2025. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve the town council minutes of March 6, 2025. There are no additions or abatements to the 2024 tax roll for February 2025, and to approve the finance director's report of February 2025.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Unfinished business, boards and commissions, discussion or action. Number 1, appointments, discussion or action. Parade committee continued from 9/5/2024. Number 1, alternate. Number 2, alternate. Number 3, there are no recommendations from the chair at this time. Council can appoint from the talent bank listing or table to the next meeting. Can I get a motion?
Motion to table the appointments of the parade committee. Alternate number 2, alternate number 3 to the town council meeting of April 3rd, 2025.
Can I get a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. B, Land Trust Member at Large from Planning Board, one term to expire 1/31/2026. No recommendations from the chair at this time. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to table the appointments to the member-at-large position to the Land Trust from the Planning Board to April 3rd, 2025 Town Council meeting.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
Wait, just before we vote on that, it has to vote on this because by charter, they have to have somebody at large. So this has gone on for a few months now, so they need to come up with a name pretty soon.
Okay.
Because there has to be somebody from the board.
Right. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
B, Board and Commission appointments, terms concur with the Town Council to expire 12/31/2026. Discussion interaction. Number 1, Economic Development Commission, 1 ad hoc non-voting member, 1 term to expire 12/31/2026. No recommendations from the chair at this time. Council can table or appoint from the Talon Bank. Can I get a motion?
Motion to table the appointment to number 1 ad hoc position on the Economic Development Commission.
Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 1 ad hoc non-voting member, number 2, term to expire 12/31/2026. Can I get a motion?
Motion to table the appointment to number 2 ad hoc position on the Economic Development Commission.
Get a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Proposed budget. Fiscal year 2025-26. Number 1, accept proposed budget from the Budget Board for public hearing to be held April 21st, 2025. Discussion interaction. Tonight, the board gives the council their recommendation. The recommended budget for fiscal year 25-26. Council can accept the budget as is for the public hearing to be held on April 21, 2025. There'll be no changes to the budget proposed by the Budget Board until that time. The budget will be available to the public in the office of the Finance Director and online at www.gloucesterri.gov on Friday, March 21st, which is tomorrow, 2025. Can I get a motion?
Well, did we receive it yet?
Yeah. Did we
No, she's,
oh, here we go.
Maureen has to give it to us
You gotta
first.
give it to us.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
If I could just say a few words before I hand it over.
Absolutely.
I can acknowledge the members of the Budget Board this year. It's been a difficult year, and you'll see when you see the budget. Those of you who are here, if you could just stand for us for a second. It's just you, Steve.
Thank you for all your hard work. And the
I
rest.
would also like to acknowledge Beth, our Finance Director, along with Christine, her assistant, and, Lori, her assistant, and Jean, who's been a big help to us, along with her assistant as well, and John Burlingham, who was very helpful in putting things in perspective and helping with the historical data. So you'll see that it wasn't easy. And we'll see where we go from here.
And I'd like to thank all the members of the board because I know it's not an easy task. I know, especially this year, I know that you spend a lot of time, you meaning the whole board, for a few months. And it's a big undertaking, and it's extremely important to the town, obviously. So thank you
Thank you.
for everything.
I
To the
said
whole- to the
at
whole
each
board.
meeting, we're not magicians, and I felt like we needed to be. Well, it is what it is, right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion to accept for public hearing the Budget Board's proposed budget for fiscal year 25-26. Said public hearing to be held on April 21st, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Boards and commissions, resignations, discussion, interaction. Gloucester Housing Authority, one expired, 5-year term to expire 6/30/2025. Council received resignation of Stephen Godori from the Gloucester Housing Authority. Can I get a motion, please?
Make a motion to accept the resignation of Stephen Gadori with thanks as of March 10th, 2025 from the Glocester Housing Authority.
Any second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think I need to abstain from this one.
Okay. So we have 4 ayes. Motion passes. 2 appointments, discussion and action, Gloucester Housing Authority. 1 unexpired 5-year term to expire 6/30/2025. The chair of the housing has recommended Jacqueline Moalo to the Gloucester Housing Authority. There is a talent bank application on file for Ms. Moalo. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to appoint Jacqueline Wallow to the Gloucester Housing Authority to the unexpired 5-year term to expire 6/30/2025.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Abstaining.
1 abstain. D, consideration to create Gloucester 250 Commission, discussion or action. Tonight, the council could discuss and decide if we want to participate in the RI 250 celebration by creating a local commission to plan and facilitate events as outlined in section 3 of the draft resolution presented by Roy Najecki. Roy has volunteered to work with and on the Gloucester 250 Commission. Roy, you want to come up?
I presented some ideas, at least an outline that which pretty much mimics what other towns have adopted in this commemoration. I wanted to point out a few things that Gloucester was, did have some significance in shaping actually the entire Constitution. I want to mention all that, I think everyone knows here I'm a revolutionary reenactor. I'm on the side of government. I'm a British officer, reenactor. And all right, in about a few weeks, we're going to commemorate the 250th anniversary of government forces coming up in Boston to collect by force arms from the people of Massachusetts, and they were also required to register guns as well. Same issues, different century. And so we're doing that today here. Also, specifically for Gloucester, when it considered its independence and what it was wanted, it was, particularly out in Western Rhode Island in the so-called Country Party, they were opposed to adopting the Constitution initially because it lacked the Bill of Rights. And even after the Bill of Rights were adopted, it was a tough sell to have the legislatures, our representatives, our senators from the Gloucester area to vote in favor of joining the Union because they wanted more protections. It was not just being opposed to a tyrant 3,000 miles away. They were concerned about 100 tyrants in Providence, 30 miles away, that were going to usurp local control. And we're dealing with that here. We're dealing with that with our zoning laws. Again, it seems like the Gloucester people have always, at least something in the water or the air out here, is wants to protect our individual rights. It's going on for nearly 250, 300 years now. And so it's my intention, if so put on this committee, that I will put out programming to educate and enlighten perhaps our residents and everyone. Certain rights that we were all concerned about 250 years ago that we still have to be concerned about today. So, it's something we all, in every generation, protect their freedoms. You just can't take it for granted. So I have some ideas of what we could do if the town council should adopt and create this committee, what we do, and hopefully open up the talent list to get some other people on board and come up with a program that we can present to the town council. And that's pretty much it. And of course, the input for the council. So.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. And so you'll be in Lexington?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be there.
You're gonna be there 5 o'clock in the morning? I'll be there. That's when it all starts. But.
I'm getting too old for this. 25 years ago, we started the march at 1 a.m. out of Boston, to march from Boston to Lexington. And we're marching on sidewalks, hard roads. And that was after a day of getting prepared, going up there, and by that afternoon, we were beat as hell. And frankly, I'm not up for it again. So I've been doing this since I was a teenager. And I was at the Bicentennial. I'd seen Reagan in Yorktown in Virginia in 1981, and been there, done that. I remember when we did the reenactment back in 1975 at Lexington and Concord. They had a bunch of protesters there, and they were all standing in. They picked out their spot, and they picked out their spot in autumn. Come spring, the spring floods, they were standing there to their, I think they're up to their knees in freezing water for the right to protest. That was amusing, but we did. It's a momentous event, kicking off America's 250th, and I think we have a lot from Gloucester to present as what our role was in it. We had dozens of soldiers that came from this town. Many of them, I did point out that most of them were up 22 years old, average age. Most of them were laborers, meaning they were farmers working on their farm, probably sons of landowners in town that signed up to serve for 3 years or the duration of the war and the trials and tribulations they went to. That we're going to present to the public and discuss. This is what we're made out here. So, and how strong we felt about our rights even after the war was won, and making sure the future Constitution was written in such a way that defended our individual freedoms to carry arms, to have local representations, and so on. So that will be all part of this, as I see it, this commission.
So thank you, Roy, and thank you for volunteering to work with this, because it'll be here fast. It's only a little more than a year away, and we want to be prepared, because it's a big deal.
We'll do it, and I'm not going to. I expect eventually, so this will eventually morph into the Glocester 300, which will be in 2030. So, any questions?
No, I think it's a great idea, and I think it's gonna be a lot of work, so,
Yeah.
but thank you.
Well, some of the things I'm going to probably do is I have an encampments, military encampments, Kent Fields out in Kent Road, the farm there. The owner said yes, they can use the field to do things there. We'll have some programming with speakers, some authors that I know speak at the Senior Center, open to the public there, awareness, perhaps even a debate, like pro-independence, pro-staying loyal to the King of England. So that sort of thing to enlighten our people what the issues were, because it wasn't clear cut and not everybody was pro-independence, but we'll bring those issues to light. And just like today, we were a divided country back then, we're a divided country today. Nothing has really changed.
Roy has submitted for the council's review a draft resolution that contains a charge, more or less, the makeup of the body and what their goals would be. If you could just read over it, over the next week or so, send me any ideas you have that we could add to it or change, and then hopefully we can get it adopted at the next council meeting, and then we'll be able to advertise to see if anybody's interested in helping out.
We have a number of people already expressed interest to me to get on this.
If you know of anyone, we'll change the website to include this commission once it's adopted.
And open up the
So
talent
they
book to
could
put
do
the
a
names in there.
talent
So.
list, yeah.
Perfect.
All right. I'll take some more free time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Roy.
you. Ladies.
All right, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the creation of the Gloucester 250 Commission. The charge of said commission will be adopted by a resolution of the town council after review by the town solicitor.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. E, Civic Plus, authorization for non-renewal of the statement of work, discussion, interaction. Council received a memo from the clerk March 19th, 2025, to Town Council from Jean Fecto, Clerk, renewal of Civics Plus SOW. Town Council, this memo is request to authorize the Clerk's Office to notify Civics Plus that we do not wish to renew our statement of work upon the renewal date of May 6th, 2025, thereby also canceling the Civics Plus Master Service Agreement. After many attempts to implement the software, we find that the renewal cost is too expensive to justify, as to the end product did not meet our expectations. We researched prior to signing on for the software, and when it appeared to provide us with more efficient process for setting agendas and interacting with town employees in doing so. However, it turned out to be too problematic in some areas to provide the level of work we were used to providing. With these reservations, I cannot justify $5,300 renewal fee. I thank you for your consideration. Dean M. Fecto, Clerk.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town clerk to notify Civic Plus that the town of Gloucester will not be renewing the state of work on the May 6th, 2025 renewal date, thereby canceling the Civic Plus Master Services Agreement.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, I just want to thank you for the amazing work that you do putting our agendas together.
I love the old way you've been doing it. I like that.
Yeah, that new thing was horrible.
I'm sorry.
F, authorization to utilize electronic e-permitting for zoning applications, discussion and interaction. Dennis? Here he is. Give us a little run-through.
Dennis Began, Building Official, Zoning Officer for the town of Gloucester. First and foremost, I want to let you know that the e-permitting system that we have now, coming down through legislation, they're adding more things to it as we go. It's a pretty wide platform, which will bring us into, which we'll be able to have for years to come. It helps us organize. Helps us digitize a lot of paper files that we've had in the past. So this actual permitting software doesn't really cost the town because the money's given back to us by the state. They pay for all of it. So this new particular platform is for zoning applications. It's going to help us review applications quickly. It's going to help I don't know if it will help the townspeople at first, because at first they were adamant about the e-permitting system, but eventually it's the way things are going. Most of the towns in the state are complying with this. I know a bunch of them already have it. They've had the e-permitting system for years, and this particular zoning application just rolled out. And I know other towns already have it, and this it's a good thing for us to do, to save a lot of time. It's easier to review the applications. You can put it up on the screen. You can spread things out. You can and even if the zoning board has laptops, it's easier to spread, zoom in on plans, things like that. So it has a lot of different attributes to it. And again, it's really not any cost to people of the town.
What about the training in I guess the upkeep of it? Does the state provide instructors to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, if this gets approved, we have already pre-scheduled the training for the staff.
All right, thank you. All right, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the implementation of OpenGov electronic e-permitting and zoning applications for the town of Gloucester in conjunction with the State Division of Business Regulations and the State Building Code Commissioner.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Legislative update, discussion, and interaction. Town planner has forwarded to council recommendations for recent legislation proposals. The memo is in the council's packet.
Yeah, that's an important one. And,
Yeah.
we're talking about other things tonight. This is what I was talking about. There's several. I mean, there's at least 7 that our planner has highlighted that can be very detrimental to our town. Not just our town, but many communities in the state. So once we read through those, I I'd ask for us to, if we agree on that for next meeting, to do a resolution to send to the State House and all of our
100%.
elected officials.
And I know it was kind of brought up to Karen, just to see if, I know Barville enacted some things to kind of help put a little power back into the town for zoning, and Karen, I believe, is looking into that also, so it's something, you know, if Barville did it, maybe we can learn a little bit from them too.
Yeah.
I have one, I'm in a group, of course, with city and town clerks, and they pass things along from each of their councils. I had quite a few I received today and yesterday, and it's to, I guess, in 2009, the General Assembly discontinued revenue sharing, and they want to respectfully request the Rhode Island General Assembly and Governor to reinstate general revenue sharing. I'll put it in your packet if anyone's interested in doing a resolution in support. Very rarely do I get the amount for one particular item that I got today. I probably had about 10 municipalities just today that are all supporting it. I don't know what brought it up. I don't even know if there's legislation proposed. But again, I'll put it in your packet. If you want it on the agenda, let me know.
Thank you. Council also received a letter in support of House Bill H5371, which if passed would allow Burville Gloucester to publish notice of official actions in any newspaper or general circulation or other digital print platforms selected by the Town Council. The charter. Charlestown Town Council feels that this would be allow greater flexibility in publishing notices there by increasing public awareness of government activities.
Why are they so kind of concerned about Burville and Gloucester?
Well, I received a lot of these today too, other municipalities, because they feel as though if Gloucester and Burville do it, they'll be next, right? They'll get in on the next round. I'm not 100% sure what it represents, because none of our legislators from Burville ever contacted Gloucester. We have no problem. We use those sources for advertising now, so I'm not 100% sure what it came from.
Yeah, and we talk about unfunded mandates, like with different things. This would be another unfunded mandate.
It could be, and I can get more information, but it could be that they have to advertise in the Providence Journal according to some laws for different things, and it's so expensive, and not a lot of people actually read it anymore. So maybe they don't understand, they already have the ability to use the Observer, for instance.
It would
I
probably
don't
be
know, but I
nice.
could check with our legislators to find out why they introduced it in the first place.
Maybe they should contact us first
They probably should.
before
Or
they
come
introduce
to a
something on
council
behalf.
meeting.
Yeah, I don't see the logic on how we would be next after Charleston. I don't see the connection.
Charleston, they strongly support it.
Somebody sent a resolution to them, or
Mhm.
sent this documentation.
Right, but I just don't understand why
Why, yeah.
we fall
Again,
in line with Charleston is.
I could check with our legislators to see what, maybe there's something there we're all
Well,
missing.
please ask, I'll contact and say, what's going on. We talk about overreach, now we have people who are
From
representing us.
Charleston,
Yeah, right?
Hey, you guys in Boston.
Two, Blackstone Valley Tourism Council inquired, asked to join plans for celebrating RI 250. Email was forwarded by Roy.
Too, Roy.
To Roy. Department heads reports. Anybody, department heads here have anything to? Hey, Bob. Perfect timing.
Just waiting for you.
Waiting in the shadows.
So I got a couple of things for you all, nothing taxing, if that makes sense. Number one, men's softball would like to go ahead and make a return back to Gloucester. We have several individuals that have been playing softball over at Burrowville, and recently Hobie Tatro and a man by the name of Scott Singleton reached out to me to see if Windsor Field would be available on Sundays. In speaking with them, they do carry insurance. I'm in the process of getting the field request form over to them, so I just wanted to put that onto your radar in the event that there's anything that needs to go before the town solicitor. And then also, Tri-Town Titans is looking to utilize Windsor Field for some practice time during the week. They have filled out the form, they have provided me with the insurance. They've also added us as a liability waiver at this point. So I think that they're pretty much good to go unless Mr. Igliozzi has something else to say about that particular piece. And then the final one is I have been in contact with Tammy Steinkamp, who's now leading the Memorial Day parade festivities for Foster. She did talk about splitting the buses, so I'm thinking probably at the next council meeting if we could potentially get onto the agenda the discussion of funding for it. Although my budget is quickly dwindling, I think that I have enough to at least cover the flowers, so that way we don't have to put the full burden onto the council and their contingency fund. So those are like the three big things that I thought should kind of get onto your radar in the event that you start hearing some whispers about it.
How is the condition of the fields over there?
So Mr. Singleton took a ride over there and said that they were playable. In talking to Mr. Tatro today, he had indicated that the Burrillville Gloucester Men's Softball League, which they would rename after everything is on the up and up, that they would be taking care of the infield and any work that needs to be done over there. They did indicate that the bases are currently planted at 90 feet because back pre-COVID, Gary and DPW were actually trying to convert that diamond to a baseball diamond so that way the middle school could practice there as opposed to over on Soggy Leisure Field. And then, things kind of got a little bit sideways with the pandemic. So that was one of the items that he had indicated. But other than a regular cut and hopefully no horse traffic on the field, I think we should be in good shape.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, they used to play there all the time when we were younger.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Well,
Your
yeah.
your dad used to play all the
Oh,
time.
my dad used to play there. So they're gonna maintain, like, I remember, like, very simple, after each game, well, when we were done with games, we would rake the field.
Yeah. One of the things that Mr. Tatro had indicated today was that currently there are some cinder blocks that are sitting over by the field. He was asking if it would be possible to replace that with a chain. He said that the league would be willing to go ahead and foot the bill of sinking in posts and putting a chain up so that way they could get some sort of vehicle onto the field to drag it. I guess in 2025.
We didn't use a vehicle.
I know.
We dragged.
I guess we're too good for that.
I don't
now.
know, because I don't know if you want vehicles on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So that's the only thing that he had indicated about like a big request, but it seemed like everything else besides the bases, they were willing to put in the sweat equity so that way they could limit the amount of time that they're spending over at Hauser, which he had indicated was from like 9 to 5 right now because there's so many teams participating.
Well, it'd be good for the field to be used again.
I
Yeah.
agree. We were just talking in RecCom about various uses for Windsor Park, and then this kind of came up, and it's like, okay, a little bit of life coming back over to that side of town would definitely be welcome.
Yeah, we were younger, we used to play football in our 20s over there every Sunday. It's painful.
No helmets?
No helmets, broken bones.
You sure about that? They weren't leather helmets at that time?
No, we just hit each other.
All right,
All right. that's
thank
it.
you, Bob.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, boards and commissions? Any council members have any questions for anybody out there in the audience today?
I'd like to thank all the 2A people for coming out, though. Appreciate that.
Yes. Roy?
Yeah. Get my yearly dose. After we get back from West End Concord, the week after that, the Conservation Commission will be having Earth Day roadside cleanup, earth litter cleanup, starting at Kent Field on Saturday there, it's the 26th. And it's our annual cleanup there, and we're going to then follow up with that. We'll probably do I submitted a grant request to the state, which we approved last year, to get $500 in funding for that, which I expect they'll approve. And we're reaching out to the youth groups and business association, this usual support we get there. Cleanups in Chepachet, and we have a group in Harmony Village up in that area there.
What month was the cleanup day?
April
gonna
April.
be April
Thank you.
26th, I believe it is.
Thank you.
Looks like at 9 a.m. at the pavilion. And then on, the 29th, Tuesday, the Land Trust will be here, and along with scientists from URI for a orientation. We're doing this bio blitz scientific study of everything that's living on Steer Hill this time. Last time we sponsored a bio blitz. This is from the University of Rhode Island. Has about 150, 200 biologists come all from New England to 48 hours to see what's on the property there. Last time we hosted it in 2008 at
Yeah, it was at Spring, right?
So they're excited of that. They're gonna have an orientation here in the chambers. And, all the scientists will come in here to understand where the property is, what's potential that they find here, and the kind of the rules and such. So, again, the orientation, the BioBlitz itself will be the first Saturday in June. It'll be visible to the public. The public will be invited. The schools will be notified about it as well, because they're welcome and encouraged to come. The science station set up microscopes and such, and it'll be a great opportunity for our students and the general public to see what's going on. Will be set up on the field that's next to the Harmony storage. So it'll be visible from the road what's going on there. So they have 100, 200 scientists and volunteers coming into Glocester. And again, this is all part of what we're working with the Land Trust, with the Economic Development Committee. Both our natural resources in town that we have to offer for the public to come in, enjoy our properties and such, and then take advantage of the places to eat and shop in town. Because some of the we want that. So
It's amazing.
looking forward.
Yeah.
Roy, one question.
Yes.
You said you're gonna have 150 people come in this room?
Not here, no, but at the field, no.
Well, you said there was gonna be an orientation.
Orientation, I doubt,
because-
probably about 40 or 50
Okay,
here.
there is a limit to
Yeah.
how many you can have.
No, we're gonna put some in room, classroom 6 probably too, so. So, if you wanna see what's going on, about 5:30 on that Tuesday evening, we'll be here, so for about an hour and a half. So. And then, hopefully this year, we'll have no rain, the violence of the last 15 years ago.
Roy, if you take pictures prior of the property and whatnot, and you want to play it on the,
Yep, we already did
To
our,
get it to
we already had some of the people from URI up here to see the property. They said it's gonna be spectacular. Because they look for a variety. At Steer Hill, we got the huge field. We got 2 streams flowing through it, all the different kind of woodlands there, the swamps there, and such. So they should have a field, like a field day out there, so. So they're looking forward to it, so my record there, so. So lots of things going on in town here, so good stuff. So. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you.
And I guess that's kind of, we have any open forum? Anybody signed up?
Jared, Hamel?
Jared?
Yes. Good evening. I'm here tonight because, my name is Jared Duhamel. I'm here tonight because I have a grievance with the planning department. Can I show you guys some emails that corresponded back and forth between the planning department and myself? Email chain and myself.
Enough?
I think I have enough.
No, I'll
Thank you.
pass it on.
Yeah, we can share. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have a unique piece of property that I own on Joe Sorrow Road. I've had some issues with this property over the past few years. It was split as one parcel back in 2005. Some of the titles and deeds were not recorded properly. So I've had a lot of issues with this. It's a landlocked piece
get access to the property. I have plenty of questions. I've come into the town hall several times to get some of these questions answered. Most of the people in the town hall have been very, very nice. I talked to Denise, Diane, Christine, very, very nice, helpful. And I've asked a ton of questions. Everybody's been really, really helpful. So one of the last times I was in the town hall, I asked a ton of more questions. They didn't have the answers for me. So they said, well, hey, why don't you go down the hall to the planning and zoning and talk to Karen Scott? So that's what I did. The first time I went in there, I had titles, deeds, the original maps from the original property, everything I could get that the clerks helped me get together. So they had some copies, I had the maps. So I went in the planning office, and again, Denise and Diane, very helpful. I said, I'd like to talk to, the town planner. I didn't know who it was at the time. And I said, when is she gonna be in? And I was told, we don't know. I said, well, when is the next time she's gonna be in? And we don't know. When was the last time she was in? We don't know. So I was like, okay, I said, these are some of the questions I have. I said, when can I talk to her? And they said, okay, let me get some copies. So they made copies of what I had. And I said, we'll leave a note. So I wrote my name on a piece of paper, my phone number, and left the copies. And they said they would leave them for her and get back to me. So I waited a few days. I've been back and forth with a lawyer, engineers, DEM, and this is a time-sensitive subject. Like, I've been dealing with this for 4 years. So, I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get this done. So I get on the town council's website, and, I call the planning office, get the recording, leave a message, leave another message, call again, leave another message, nothing. So I come back into the town hall again. What's going on? When is she gonna be here? When can I talk to her? They said, well, did you try emailing her? So I'm like, okay, so I email her. And as you can see, these are some of the emails I got back. And, I have a lot of questions that are gonna lead to other questions. And I understand that email is in almost everyone's life. Almost everyone. Some people don't have email. I don't own a computer. I find it difficult to do emailing sometimes, but as you know, business gets done via phone calls, via face-to-face. I find emails, faxes, texts, those are supplementary, secondary. And I understand that you guys wanna make sure there's no he said, she said, but after we have a meeting and you have, answered my questions, you can memorialize them by sending me an email, or vice versa, or if you need a document. I understand that, but the questions I have need to be answered either phone call or face-to-face, and I find it very unprofessional that I've been treated like this. And, some of these other projects in town, I know for a fact that she's called them back. Let's talk about Stafford Yards. You're telling me that whole project just got done by email? No, I know for a fact that the people on that project and the people that used to own Stafford Yard, the Lavoie family, have talked to her in the past, have meetings with her, meeting with the engineers, with the lawyers, talk to them. So why am I not afforded the same rights as someone else to have access to a public servant that I pay? My family owns multiple properties in this town, multiple houses. I went to school with Walter. I went to school with you. She's my neighbor. I stopped and talked to her and petted her dog not too long ago. I don't understand, why can't I get afforded a meeting or a phone call back? I've had other people call that number. Where does that number go? I mean, there's phones everywhere in this town hall, in every office. You call the directory, there's 28 phone lines. What are they for? If I'm being told multiple times that I will only talk to you via email, why do you have a phone line? That's unprofessional. That's not right. So I wanna know why our town planner is not talking to me. Did anybody answer that question? Why am I not getting allotted a phone call or a meeting? This is not right. I'm being told over and over again, she's only part-time. She makes $88,000 a year, part-time, and no one can tell me when she's in the office? No one can tell me why she's not calling me back? That's not right. That's discriminatory. I mean, I went in the office not so long ago, I said, what if, anybody here know old man Ray Sherman? on Cooper Road, anybody know him? 93 years old. You know Ray, right? Does Ray have a computer? No. Does Ray have email? No. Ray has a house phone. So you're telling me if Ray called that number, no one's gonna call him back? He's not gonna get town service? You're not gonna allow him the same services that you allow the millionaires that are building Stafford Yards? I mean, this is not right. I wanna put to a vote that the town planner has to be in the office 1 day a week, 4 days a month. I don't think that's too much to ask for someone that wants to come in and get service with this town. Make $88,000 a year as a part-time, really? I mean, I want to know what's going on, so does anybody here know the guy in, I'm sorry, Burrville, the town planner in Burrville? Ray Goff.
I think he used to be our town planner.
Long time.
I just decided to give that, I called the number. He picked up on the second ring. I talked to him for 15 minutes about nothing. He's like, hey, how's it going? I don't understand. He makes $94,000 a year full-time. He said he's in the office 5 days a week. He's on the phone 40 or 50 times a day. I don't think this is appropriate. This is not right. Why am I not getting the service I'm requesting? It's been a month. It's been a month. Nothing. You saw the last email. That's the last I heard.
Jared, so you and I talked, and I talked to Karen.
Yeah.
And didn't she set up a meeting with you where you'd be in the
No,
office?
I've never met Karen. I don't know what she
No,
looks
but
like.
she told me that she had scheduled a meeting with you on Tuesday for you to come in.
No.
Get all the questions and she
Last
would
time I
respond
was
to
in here, I
them.
spoke to Diane. That was the last time I heard anything from anyone.
So that's all, that's what she told me, so that's all,
Wow.
and then you didn't show up, that was
I didn't
what she
show
told
up.
me. I'm going by what she told me, okay?
I was
So-
told the same
Listen,
thing.
listen,
Did she email you?
email me.
No, I'm just asking how she told you.
Email about the
If she didn't call, how
appointment,
she
is
tell?
that what
She
you're talking
emailed, are you serious?
I'm going by what she told me,
No.
okay?
Nope.
I'm just telling you. she
I've
told me.
I've never spoken to her, no contact with her ever. It's been a month. It's been a month. I come in here, hundreds of phone calls. Who answers the phones?
But I would tell you, some of the people who were talking to you about how they talked to her,
Yes.
that's part of the reason that those answers have to be in writing, because they
How,
said
how,
one thing
how,
different
how
about
can
it.
you talk to somebody? Did you see the maps? Did you see any of what's going on with the property?
No, that's.
So the reason why I'm asking for a face-to-face or a phone call is, I left the maps in her office with a note. Like some of the questions, you have to have the map in front of you. You have to see what's going on. If not, this email chain will go back and forth for 6 months with some of the questions. I have a page of questions, a page, I have numbered. There's like 28 questions I have. That will lead to another question, that will lead to another question, depending on how she answers it. So, I mean, again, why am I not afforded a phone call? And at the end of the phone call of the meeting, she wants to send me some of the answers in email. I have no problem with that. But that's not how business is done nowadays. I'm sorry. And you can't tell me that Stafford Yard was built all by email. You're telling me that there was no, I know for a fact there was phone calls, meetings with engineers, lawyers, you know, Kevin Lavoie. I know this.
Let's just say that that's part of the reason that everything's in writing now.
I understand it's gonna be in writing, but there's also face-to-face meetings, and they're allotted that.
And by what she told me, she afforded you that opportunity last week or this week
How?
on Tuesday. I don't know, I'm just saying, she told me that you were.
You have every email I have with her. I haven't checked my.
That's fine.
I
I know, I believe you.
checked
I'm
my
just telling you
emails
what
2
I'm
days
told.
after that last email.
Yep.
I don't use email every day. I can't remember last time I used my email. All I have is a smartphone. I don't own a computer. I mean, maybe I'm a dinosaur, but I still feel that in this town, if you want to do any business, it should be done face-to-face or phone call. And if you want to memorialize any of that after the fact, well, then send me an email about what the answers you gave me. Because maybe out of the 28 questions, she can only answer 4. Well, send me those 4. But again, I have a map. I left copies of the map, so she can have those, so we can have a conversation. Or if I make an appointment. I made it clear on that I would come in here anytime. Over and over and over, I made that clear.
And again, I'm going by, and I don't know why she.
How did
lied
she
to me.
send it to me?
I don't know.
Why is she not calling me?
Again, I'm going by what she told me.
No,
I
I
don't
want you
think
to,
she lied to
Walter,
me to
honestly,
say that she wouldn't
honestly,
set
how
up-
long did it take you to call me back?
What, an hour or so probably? But but I'm not a town planner, I'm just
Call
trying
me
to find out
back and
what's
say,
going
Jared,
on.
I can meet you here at this day and this time. That's all I was asking.
Or I'll be in the office at this day, I mean,
I can't, no one can give me, and even ask some of you guys, I'm not gonna tell you, when was the last time she was in the office? No one can tell me when she was in the office, when she's going to be in the office. What kind of, I mean, that's not right, that's not right. Just like you have a handicap ramp out front. Someone should be allowed to come in here to do town business. You know, if I wanna walk up the ramp because my leg hurts instead of using the stairs, if someone that doesn't have legs, you can't just say, well, there's no ramp, sorry. Ray doesn't have email. What if I said I didn't have email? You're not gonna talk to me, you're not gonna do business with me? Why do you have a phone line with an answer machine on it? And it says literally, someone will call you back promptly. No one's ever called me back. I've left multiple messages on that phone. I've left notes with the ladies in the office. I've talked to them, please have her give me a call. If you see every one of them says please and thank you, she blatantly says, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. That's not right, Walter. That's not right.
Again, I gotta go by what people are telling me.
How did
So you're
she
telling me
contact me?
somebody's
Carry
telling
a
me
pigeon?
something?
I never
don't
talked to her.
know.
I don't even know what she looks like.
Well,
Well, I
we're
think
gonna
it's-
have to do.
We're gonna do some research
Yeah,
and
there's
find out what's
nothing we
happening.
can answer you right now, because we're gonna have to look into it. You provided us with a lot of
Can
information.
I put out the board that, a vote be put that she has to be in the office at some point where people know she's going to be there, so they can have access. I think that's more than fair. Everybody's telling me she works part-time. This town pays someone $88,000 a year to work part-time.
Well, it's not on the agenda, so we would be able to make a motion about it.
Can I put it on the agenda? Part-time is a minimum of 1 day a week. You put it Tuesday, every Tuesday,
She's
4
in-
times a month.
She's in the office every week.
Yeah. she's-
When?
I can't tell you the schedule,
Yeah.
she's in the office.
It's not
Ladies,
listed
that I
on
will
there,
tell
she's
you
here.
as well.
You come in, you can get service through the town clerk, the town tax, everybody's here. But no one's ever told me when she's gonna be here or when she was here. That's all I was asking. And no one's ever called me back.
So we'll look
Multiple
into
phone
it.
calls.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
So what am I gonna do now? Just keep waiting?
Well, we have your phone number now, so we can easily call you back. I promise to call you back
I
this
hope
week.
somebody's gonna call me back because, at this point, I'm just beyond upset. It's been a month and, time is of the essence with this. So who am I gonna expect a phone call back from?
I'll call you back.
You'll call me back?
I'll call you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else for open?
Walter Steer, Putnam Pike. I'm in the same boat as Mr. Duham. I don't have email, I don't have computers, I don't even have a smartphone. My only technology is a flip phone.
House phone.
And I have a house phone.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not going to have a zoning application, but if I wanted to make one, I couldn't make one. What am I supposed to do?
It's not right.
We have a public computer, I believe, for each.
I don't even know how to turn the computer on.
The ladies would help you.
Those
Yeah.
poor ladies will, they'll have a heart attack before they're done dealing with it. But anyway, I'm not gonna go for a permit or anything. I don't take permits out anymore.
I'll do it.
And, I just think all this technology, there's still people like me and Mr. Duham, and I'm sure there's other people in this audience who's not, who still don't, we use a pen and paper, and we call people on the phone. We don't email people.
Not right.
I agree with you, Mr. Steer.
So
I agree with you.
that's all I wanna say.
Yeah, and you do have to realize this is all being pushed by the state too. They're pushing everything towards E-Verify, all of that stuff.
Right, but
So
we
it's-
can still have customer
We
service,
can
we can still
People
address
should
our.
return phone calls.
Again,
Absolutely.
well,
I
we
can
gotta
say,
find
well,
out exactly what happens, so.
Well, you know what happens, we have a responsibility as a town and
Well,
our
you can't talk
department
about
heads.
job performance
No,
right
you
now.
can't, but,
Correct.
but if someone asks somebody a question, I would expect that they get an answer.
Exactly, and not take a month to get an
You
answer.
can't talk about job performance.
Yep, okay, so. All right, we need to get to executive session, please.
I'll I'll make a motion to seek to convene to close the executive session pursuant to RAGL 42-46-581, sessions pertaining to discussions of the job performance, character, or physical or mental health of a person or persons. Employees are notified. Discussions, considerations, vote, or other actions by town council. One, discussion by council, vote, or other action regarding one employee. B, we'll make sure we get this on record as well. So RAGL 42-46-5A2, sessions pertaining to collective bargaining. I'll wait. Well, I haven't read it.
Just give it a minute.
RAGL 42-46-5A2, sessions pertaining to collective bargaining, litigation, or work sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation. One, discussion by council, vote, or other action regarding potential litigation. Two, discussion by council, vote, or other action regarding negotiations for successor union contracts. Three, discussion by council, vote, or other action regarding International Brotherhood of Police Officers, Local 638.
Okay, second?
Second.
Will the clerk call the roll?
Council Burlingame.
Aye.
Council Delisi.
Aye.
Council Greyhound.
Aye.
Council Steer.
Aye.
Council Woody.
Aye. Motion passed. Quick 5 minutes. There's more there, John, that you don't know.
I
understand.
Catherine was sitting in the conference room waiting for that.
Well, then how did she communicate? She had to bring a guy in.